Hey guys, what's up? My name is Emily Hood and welcome back to this week's episode of the Hood Report. On this week's episode, we will be discussing the newest upgrades to this year's iPhones, the 25th anniversary of your favorite show to binge on Netflix, and the Cardinals' push for a playoff spot. The Cardinals are wrapped up in the race for a playoff spot in the NL Central. Now, the Cardinals have missed the playoffs for the past 3 years after they barely missed wildcard contention last year. The Cardinals lead the NL Central, but the race is pretty tight as they are only 2 games ahead of the Cubs and 3 games ahead of the Brewers. The magic number for the Cardinals to clinch a playoff spot is 10, but they will face the Cubs 7 more times before the end of the season. There is also a race for the National League wildcard spot, where the Cubs are only half a game behind the Washington Nationals. The Cardinals beat the Nationals last night after an impressive performance by Marcell Ozuna, who had a 2-run home run and a 2-run double in the game to win 4-2. Now, they will need to have a really successful September in order to avoid tiebreaker games between the Cubs, the Nationals, the Brewers, and the Mets for the wild card spot. Come on, guys, I believe in you. This week also marks the 25th anniversary of Friends, which aired its first episode in 1994. The show is one of my personal favorites to watch on Netflix, and despite some of its content maybe not aging quite well, it's still a really popular show across many generations. Friends was first aired on NBC but remained popular and was introduced to younger audiences when it was released on Netflix in 2015. To celebrate the anniversary, 1,000 theaters across the country will be holding special screenings of 12 episodes throughout the course of 3 days. The future of Friends is up in the air as Netflix paid $100 million to keep the show on its streaming service just through 2019, and HBO is threatening to pull it and put it on its own streaming service in 2020. And in our last story for this week, Apple's latest announcement unveiled 3 new iPhones, and I'm here to tell you what's new with them and whether or not I think you should upgrade. Apple released 3 phones: the iPhone 11, the iPhone 11 Pro, and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. The iPhone 11 is the base level iPhone and comes with features such as a dual camera setup, a 6.1-inch display, and a glass back that comes in 6 colors: white, black, yellow, red, purple, and green. The iPhone 11 also begins pricing at $699, which is a reduction from last year's iPhone XR. Now, the flagship phone, the iPhone 11 Pro Max, has a ton of new features like a 3-camera setup that has an ultra-wide, wide, and telephoto lens, excellent battery life, and a larger display for $1,099. Yeah, that's a lot. In my opinion, if you're looking to upgrade your phone, I think the iPhone 11 is probably your best bet. It offers improved battery life and a much improved camera compared to some of Apple's previous models, but it still has a relatively affordable price for a smartphone. On the other hand, I think that a lot of Apple's most recently released phones are still alive and functioning very well. So I'm not sure, if you have a phone that's only 2 years old, if this is really worth spending the money for an upgrade. I personally have an iPhone 10 and it works great, and I probably won't be upgrading for another year or 2. The iPhone 11 will be released in stores on September 20th and is available for pre-order now. And that is all the stories that I have for you today. Thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode of The Hood Report, and I hope you all have a great week.